Hello, I'm Doug Walker.
I'm Rob Walker.
And this is Sibling Rivalry. So, okay, after years and years of trying to avoid the Twilight franchise, my brother has finally been subjected to a Twilight movie.
Thank you for that. A long-standing record broken.
Finally broken. I cannot explain the chills of excitement I have for that. As you know, I have loved the Twilight movies for how enjoyably bad they were, except for the last one that can rot in hell. And we finally have this one. The Breaking Dawn Part 2, which is by far the crowning achievement of absolute horridness.
I'll take your word for that, having not seen the other one.
It is like, okay, so the first one I always said was like the most enjoyably bad, and then they sort of get less enjoyable in how bad they are, like they're just unpleasant. But this one goes right back to how batshit crazy, stupid, idiotic, bland, flat, and it goes to all new levels. It's I was very excited by how bad it was.
You're right. You were very excited.
It was like, it was me and Uncle Yo and Skitch and Y Ruler of Time. And
Critical Marine was with us.
Yeah, and
I'm sure he's going to go back to base camp or whatever and report that
pretty
and
much
get laughed at.
It was like 7 guys who went into this movie
7
theater.
guys swallowing their pride, walking in like manly men.
And lots of beer.
Getting
lots
beer
of beer, too.
and saying, 7 tickets for Twilight, please.
It was... Okay, you know those Mystery Science Theater, those 3 little a-holes that sit in front of the screen and make fun of the movie? Imagine 7 of those guys, because we would not shut the hell up.
Oh, I'm surpured we weren't ejected from the theater.
No,
I'm
like, we
really
just would not shut the hell up, but it's impossible not to! This movie is so horrendously
Uncle
bad!
Yo was the worst. He was on my right, and he is shouting at the screen, just every second, just,
He thinks,
what? What?
He thinks
Why
he
would
can
you
change
do
the
that?
story. He thinks he can
Why?
actually change it if he shouts
Oh
loud
no,
enough.
he literally was trying to will characters to die on screen. He was sitting there going,
Or have emotion.
Just die, die now, and I'm literally not exaggerating. This is how loud he's shouting in the middle of a quiet scene. Just die, and then when he realized he was being too loud, he would like get softer and just go, just die now, die, please die.
Okay, but, you know, we can talk about, but you're not going to have much context unless you know a little bit about the story, which, of course, with Rob, seeing how he has seen none of the films except this
None
one,
of
would
them.
be more than happy to explain what happens. Go ahead.
Okay.
Just
Are
do
you
your
serious?
best. I think it'll be
I don't
funnier
think-
if you
I don't think
actually
I'm
try to
very
explain
qualified.
it.
Okay, how do you explain this movie? There's this girl who is kind of hot until she talks, and then the hotness levels drop.
Drastically.
Who I guess is a vampire because her eyes are red, and she can move like the Flash, and has like Superman powers.
And
for
exploits
some
it
reason.
to ultimate extremes. I mean, literally, like, they have to go get a book. And it's like, shoo! And, like, she's back, and it's like, dude, you could have just walked. They didn't do this in the other movies. Every second they're speeding up the film, and it looks like a Benny Hill sketch. It's really crazy.
She's a vampire, but like she feeds on animals because she's a nice vampire. I don't.
Oh, no, you missed the tofu vampires. That I forgot to explain.
Oh, the toe vampire. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
So she's a toe vampire, or she eats only cougars, which, and you look like that. Okay. So she is currently married, yet still looks like she's dating James Franco, I think is what he looks like to me. Like, if you cross the new Spider-Man dude with James Franco, you mesh them together, and his name is Edward. He's a vampire too, and then they have some weird, freaky alien baby that grows up insanely fast like Spock in Star Trek 3. It's like, I don't know if that forest is like the Genesis forest, but this baby who is CGI.
A CGI baby. They could not afford a baby in this, and it is the worst. There's a lot of bad effects. This is the worst effect, this CG baby. It looks like that baby on the baby food labels. They just cut it out and pasted it over
No,
this
you know what it is?
blurry
It's
CG
creepier
thing.
than that damn baby that's hawking the E-Trade thing.
Yeah, it looks like the E-Trade baby.
I'm gonna totally talk like an adult voice and hook you up. No, dude, no, you gotta totally go with like E-Trade.
That looked more convincing.
Yeah, take that and make it even creepier.
I don't know why the baby doesn't do anything.
I know. Here's what kills me. It's just like, okay, here's our plan. Let's see. We need a baby. Let's pay some woman like dirt cheap to borrow her baby because not only we have to pay the baby by the line. Or let's pay a bunch of digital artists millions of dollars to create a CGI baby.
Oh, come on. You saw the effects. $20.
Okay, yeah. Tens and tens of dollars to make this.
Which for Twilight is a big budget, because we've all known the effects in these movies have been unbelievable.
Oh, and it's creepy. And I guess like there's a scene or two where I get why they did. It's like, oh well, they want the baby to like touch Edwards or touch her cheek or something. It's like, and,
okay,
you know,
the
babies
hand. You can
okay.
CG a hand.
You can CG
okay,
a hand,
that's
but they
okay.
CG'd
Not
a
the whole
face.
baby.
They CG'd a hell. You could have gotten a sack of flour and pasted a baby Gerber baby face on it.
It would have looked more
convincing.
realistic.
They should have just gotten like one of those like dolls,
So this baby grows up really fast, and you have no idea how long it takes. Whether this was like a week or a year, or heck, maybe it's happening in real time with the dissolves. You don't know.
So it's too many Flintstones vitamins, I think. 10 million strong and growing and growing and growing, and holy shit, you're really tall. So then there's a baby, and then the other dude that I guess she was dating at some point, a Slater from Saved by the Bell. That's what he looks like to me. Jacob.
Yeah.
I just called him Slater. Like literally, he walks in and I was like, oh, it's Slater. And
every time he walks in, all the girls in the audience go, woo!
So I guess he kind of like has custody of this child, or there was a kidnapping and an Amber Alert was issued, but nobody cared, and he brings the child back, like, hey, check her out, and like, you're the mother.
He checked her out.
Yeah, so he's like, oh, you're the mother, so like, you need to get attached, but not too long, because you may eat her or something. I don't get that, but because the child is like, could be an immortal. Like, there's a bunch of nasty-ass vampires wearing way too much, like, clown makeup and, like, opera getup in, like, Italy somewhere.
Well, led by Andy Serkis. I mean, it's not really Andy Serkis, but really looks like him.
I was like, who did that dude look like? He looks like an Andy Serkis cross with, like, Napoleon with, like, Snape hair.
Yeah.
Like, from Harry Potter, and he's all like, I want this child because I'm trying to assemble some group of, like, vampiric X-Men.
No, he is. He's Chris Kattan from Goth Talk.
Yes, that's who he is. I'm so spooky. I'm going to go there and steal your baby, Bella. I guess there's some cousin. This is like a really bad vampire Thanksgiving. I guess everybody's having a good time. Like some cousins just like, oh, you have like some creepy baby that's growing up fast. I'm gonna report you to Chris Kattan and the authorities or whatever. And so they go, and then they're just like, oh well, Chris Kattan's gonna go. They find out and it's like, oh, evil Napoleon Chris Kattan's gonna kill us. So here's what I'm gonna do. We have to convince this guy that we're really like cool and it's not an immortal child. I guess what happens is, according to this mythology,
I couldn't even follow this part.
An immortal vampire is basically like if some baby kid something turns, then it's like you've got a vampire that's like 5 years old. So, well, if you have like a 5-year-old vampire, it's like having a 5-year-old god. Like, whenever it gets pissed, it's just gonna go nuts. Why vampires would give a shit about this, I don't know. But I guess, like, even though we have this army of small children we could have that would go batshit crazy for us and kill everybody, no, we don't want them to do that. So we're just gonna kill the child and the parents and anybody else related in a weird Sleepy Hollow style flashback that involves decapitations and setting people on fire and it.
Okay, so pretty much they go and they get all these other vampires, ones that would make much more interesting movies.
Now, this is the weird thing. Like, so they go and they assemble basically a Captain Planet team of vampires. It's like,
yeah!
We got Amazonians, we got Indians, oh, we got Africans, hells yeah, we got Africans.
And they have the powers of the Captain Planet characters. That's why it's like Earth, Fire, Wind, Water, no heart.
Wonder, glitter, powers assemble. Like,
yeah, it was like, and this serves no purpose in the movie for them to have these powers. Stephanie Meyer made this shit up for no reason. If you took that out of the movie, nothing would change.
Well, here's the funny thing. Like, I'm watching this, like, why are you doing this? Because they have this conversation. It's like, do you realize what evil Chris Kattan Goth Talk guy is doing? He is assembling this evil group of, like, X-Men vampires. So he wants the child because the child has some sort of superpower. It's like Superman Returns or something, I guess, is this child is. So he wants to take the child no matter what. So what are we going to do? I know exactly what we're going to do. We're going to get a bunch of witnesses to prove that the child is really a super child and not immortal, so that way he will be convinced, and we won't have to fight him. Well, but wait, won't he want to steal the child then? Yes! And they never got farther than that plan, because, like, I'm watching this, I'm like, what did they think was going to happen? Now, there is an out. It's a really awful out. They do come up with a solution that is so freaking stupid. Do we tell it? Like, should we? Spoiler alert.
No, what, for you mean like the big ending?
Yeah.
You mean okay. Well, we will get the ending.
Okay,
is
we're
like
telling you right now. Spoiler alert.
Oh, okay.
So.
The ending. Hold on. We'll get to the ending in a second. The ending is a category all its own.
It is a category 5 shitstorm.
Yeah. So we will get to the ending in a minute.
The Hurricane Sandy of climax.
I say let's first talk about. We'll just talk about real fast, just like sort of the problems and what we thought of everything else in the movie and stuff like that, and then we'll get to the climax.
Well, the intro was weird because it was like put together by like. I felt like I was watching like some ad for Colorado like alpine skiing gone wrong.
Well, that's all the movies.
Well, okay, I haven't seen all the other movies. It's like, here's all these shots of the mountains, and it's like blood red, and I'm just like, it's Bram Stoker's Alaska. I didn't.
So basically, here's the thing. So you got the dumbass characters with their dumbass motivations. The only two characters I've ever liked in any of these films, one is Jacob, who's still the only supportive, good human being, despite being a werewolf in this, and he still gets shit on. The whole thing with the imprint thing, which before I was sort of making the argument of, oh, wait, no, he's doing that to save the kid's life. It's almost like he's making a sacrifice, and I guess in this one they're playing up more. He's like talking to Edward like, should I call you Dad or something? I'm like, oh, don't do that. It's like, now I'm seeing the creep value
why
of
is
this.
her dad the Brawny Man?
Okay, and the dad. The dad is the only other character that's ever been, like a decent human being, but by God, he is so fucking stupid in this. Like, they make him so dumb. Like, okay, so Jacob comes forward and shows him that he's a werewolf, which, he sort of jumps back and goes, huh. All right.
Yeah.
So,
okay. No. I'm gonna
what?
bring this up because this was the strangest paced film ever. Because so many things happen in this film that scenes are only 30 seconds long. Like, because they have to cram so much stuff in, which makes me wonder what the hell was in part 1 or A or Breaking Dawn, like 1.0.
A lot of vampire sex.
Was that it? Because I'm just like,
basically,
what happened?
It's her giving birth, which the less you know about
it reminds me of the damn Harry Potter movie, where it was like movie 7-1, 7A or whatever, had nothing. It was like the Blair Witch Project, with the 3 Hogwarts kids. So I was like, I guess he's crammed all this crap into the second one.
Yeah,
but that's, but no, I just want to touch on that, because that happens. There's this scene where, like, Slater walks in and he's like, hey, Bella's dad, I'm going to show you something for your own protection. He's like, what? And he's like, blah, I'm a giant dog. And this in any other well-directed film would have been a big moment where he's like, oh my God. And you would show his reactions like, oh crap. Instead, it's just like, he just jumps out, he's like, huh. And it's like, poof.
No, let's talk about the other big
Next
reaction.
Scene, he's just I just saw something amazing.
It's like, he finds out his daughter is alive, which, by the way, Bella and Edward were totally gonna go along with the idea.
So was she supposed to, did they fake their own deaths? Because I didn't see that.
No, it's like, he didn't know it. They were gonna go along with the idea of making him think she was dead, which, fucking dicks, okay? It's like, well, we don't want to risk his life. It's like, he thinks you're fucking dead. It's like, this is a constant thing in these movies where it's like, I don't want to risk her life. You're making the person's life worse.
Oh, Potter did that. That was like the most offensive thing I thought in the first of the 7 films. Like when she's like, I'm just gonna erase their memories. Because that's like a horrible, horrible thing.
Okay,
like,
keep the focus. Keep focus.
Well, no, it's the focus is here because same thing. So Bella did that then.
Bella
she's a horrible child.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. Okay, so he sees that Bella is still alive. They can't tell him that she's a vampire to, again, protect him somehow. I don't get it, but he comes there, knows
Chris
where...
Kattan will hunt him down.
Yeah, he knows werewolves exist, you know, so he's just like, what the hell's going on? She says, I can't tell you, but I can assure you that it's for your own good and everything's all right. It's like, okay, it's like, no! This is a conversation! Why didn't he get
reveal
angry?
the werewolf thing then if... Yeah, because she was
Hell,
pissed
say
off
she's a werewolf!
Yeah,
I mean,
why not just say that?
I mean, there's so many other... And you know what? That's offensive to him, like, you know, that she doesn't trust him. I mean, and like I said, this is the only other, like, decent human being. And then they constantly send him off on trips, and he's like, oh, okay, derpy. Like, never questions anything.
Does he ever come back? I don't remember
No,
seeing
we
him
never
in the
see him
second
again.
half.
Most of the characters that they build up in this movie, you never see at the very end. Jacob disappears practically at the end. The daughter, I think, sort of does too. Okay. So you have all this dumb shit going on. You have... you know, these other vampires come in, which will make much more interesting movies. They're there to bear witness. So they're on the side of, like, the, you know, they want to protect the girl, pretty much, the immortal Bella, whatever.
By testifying in her good name, because that's going to work, I guess.
Okay, so bottom line, I mean, with everything else, the acting is horrendous. The cinematography actually gets a little good, as well as the music. But the logic and all that stuff, everything that made the first one so enjoyably dumb is in the first 2/3 of this movie. Now, this is where we get into spoilers. If you don't want to know, don't watch it. I think you know what our opinion is, but we have to talk about the last third of this movie. This last third just, like, exceeds the expectations of stupid. You won't believe
earthly clue.
So, all right, so you got all the bad vampires lined up. You know, the people
if you want to see this spectacularly awful ending for yourself without it being spoiled, turn this review off right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is point no return here. Okay.
I didn't like the movie. I'll say that much for you, just so you know where I'm coming from. It was pretty to look at, but that was about it. And what were your thoughts quickly before we go into this?
It's so enjoyably dumb. Yeah. It has to be witnessed.
It was laughably bad, but
it was so enjoyable
pay
for
money
me
to see that.
I am so glad I paid money to see this, because this was like, I loved it for how bad it was. This was back to formula for the Twilights for me, for how enjoyably bad they are. But let's get into this last third now. Let's get into the climax. So all the bad vampires are lined up, you know, like the extras from Eyes Wide Shut, you know, with the mask and everything, you know, the hoods.
This is like gladiators. This is like one row
it's one long line,
of all dudes dressed in, like, black cloaks, and then another row of, like, your scrappy Captain Planet, you know, Wonder Team assembled.
And you got sort of the good vampires and the good werewolves there too. And they go, and the Andy Serkis vampire hamming it up like, oh my God,
this dude. Okay.
Like mad.
Like the funniest line in the movie, we couldn't stop laughing. I thought we were going to get kicked out for this.
I
couldn't
thought
stop
we were
laughing.
gone.
What sets it off? There was some line.
No, it's when they bring the girl down, because the girl apparently can touch people and show them that, that's the truth, that she really is immortal or whatever. Or she's not immortal. I don't know. She's cool, pretty much.
Something sets him off.
Yeah, she comes down and
funny.
Yeah, he sees the child first. He goes, the child, bring her to me.
It's like the child catcher from Chitty Chitty.
And pretty much the child comes forward and he looks at her and just suddenly, out of nowhere, we're not even exaggerating this.
Do I do it in unison?
Okay, yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 3. He literally makes that sound. In fact, I think we're doing it subtly.
It is the sound like a drunk makes when he's having a really, really good piss. Like he's been holding it in for hours and he's breaking his ears. He's just like, just standing at the urinal, just like,
we just lose it. I think the rest of the theater starts laughing too at this.
Carl's just like, Carl's laugh was the best. He just goes,
So he does that, and he says, you know, so he for whatever reason lets out this dumbass laugh. We couldn't hear the line after because it was so silly. And he's okay, but then he starts arguing, what if this child, who, yes, is very powerful, is not immortal, but is very powerful, can still kill and is a danger? Should we still get rid of this child? I'm thinking we should.
Yeah, for somebody that's supposed to be the villain, he's very much like, no, I will listen. Bring forth your witnesses.
No, actually, I was okay with that. I was okay with him, like, actually, like, because I like that. But
it just was weird. Is he a villain or not? You've
anyone that goes, is a villain.
But you've had an hour and a half of build-up, and this guy is very much not that villainous when all things are considered. He's like, I'm just doing it for the best of my kind, and this and that. He's like, I want to assemble a team of awesome vampires. I'm like, that's pretty cool. I would probably be with this guy. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, and then Alice, who I guess is the vampire that can actually show people the future, gets visions of the future.
Oh yeah, interesting thing I didn't realize, vampires are like the Planeteers. They can like control the elements. They're the X-Men. The planet, or no, the
Bella has some sort of weird power now too.
Vampires are Bella has like some like shield power.
The Invisible Woman's shield, whatever that is.
Yeah, and like some dude can like control the elements, like
more Stephanie Meyer made up shit. I mean, yeah.
You know what? All I'm gonna say is this. Mormons have a very interesting take on mythology. That's all I can say.
Do not insult Mormons that way, just Stephanie Meyer.
Okay, Stephanie Meyer has a very interesting...
Let's keep the focus again. Okay, we should get to the climax. Yeah. Okay, we're delaying it here. Okay, so Alice goes up, I think that's her name, and says, I can show you that the child is not a danger. And, you know, and
come here and chill.
He grabs her hand, you know, gets the vision, goes, and she says, oh my god, no matter what we do, you're gonna want to kill the kid. He goes, yup. Okay,
pretty much. This is a giant waste of time.
So this giant battle, all these vampires lined up, and then the good vampires and the werewolves on the other side.
It is like the most epic battle in the universe.
Start running towards each other. The music goes, werewolf preposterous, and they
pretentious Maximus
do the most unbelievable, over-the-top battle you've ever seen in your life. There's Soleil flipping. There's explosions.
Chuck Norris drops from the sky.
Decapitations left and right. I mean, heads
dogs and cats
everywhere.
living together. Mass hysteria.
The werewolves are jumping on top of the other. Edward and Bella are like, you know, like I said, they're doing gymnastics, like, you know, they're using each other like the Wonder Twins, like they're working together.
My jaw hit the ground. I was applauding. I'm like, yes!
Yeah,
I was like,
we're actually getting into this. We're like, holy shit, this is really stupid, but it's kind of awesome.
Just got real.
This one kid, whatever who controls the elements, slams his fist into the ground. The ground breaks open.
Yeah, the ground
People
breaks.
Start falling in. What?
It's like that scene in Ghostbusters where they nearly get sucked up by the street and they're all like,
all sorts of levels of awesome. And when somebody dies, they set them on fire. So there's a lot of fire going on.
I haven't seen this many decapitations and severed limbs since like the Jedi battle in Attack of the Clones. I mean, there were just body parts flying off left and right.
It's just all over the place and the most weirdest, incredible stunts. And it's so goofy and people making the weirdest, just character after character after character getting killed off.
If this were an anime, oh my god, this would be like...
It really felt like
that.
that.
Akira, Evangelion, like all rolled into one.
Just this incredible fucking goddamn ass shit battle.
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable. And it ends with, you know, the golem, that guy, he gets his head ripped off by Bella and Edward, you know, and they look down, you know, and his severed head is still, his eyes are blinking and stuff, and she gets the fire. The only badass moment Bella's ever had, you know, sort of looks at him, starts setting the fire towards him, and then it turns out none of it happened.
Cut to her. Cut to the vampire chick who can show him things like this, and he's sitting there, he's like, oh, and she like steps out, she's like, that's what will happen if you decide to oppose us.
And so
we went ballistic. I mean, first off, the audience started laughing like almost instantly. Like even the audience
started laughing. The people that paid money who wanted to see this.
We like literally tossed our empty cups of beer.
We just shouted, boo! Boo! It was, and the audience cracked up. They could not believe the movie.
Go to hell, movie.
Even the fans of Twilight could not believe that Twilight did something this stupid.
What a horrible dream.
It was all a dream. And it's like, and the bad guy just, you know, in the vision, he sees all this happen and goes, okay, ta-ta, and they take off like a Benny Hill sketch.
What? I think you may be right. Of course, you could have just force-fed me that thing, but I'm gonna buy it one way or another. Toodly pipski.
He heads out. Bella and Edward live happily ever after. The end.
You know what I love, though? What made the story so, so powerful is the fact that not a single person had to sacrifice one damn thing.
Not one damn thing.
It was like an episode of Full House. Everything wrapped up
the vampire
in 30
who ratted
seconds.
on them, I think, gets axed off. That's
But
it.
who gave a shit? She was the one who ratted on her.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, it's a morality tale. You know, hey, don't rush in. You
Don't be a dick at
dimwit.
Vampire Thanksgiving.
So, and
Yeah, not a single. Nobody had to sacrifice anything. These main, like, here's the thing: the actors have no chemistry. Like, I'm watching, I was like, I don't. You're right though, except for Slater.
he's the only likable character.
I mean, he was okay. He was passable, much like Slater in Saved by the Bell. He was passable.
But here's the thing. Okay, so you got all these. Take out all these other characters that would have been interesting. Take out the daughter, who should be the most fascinating character in all the movie, gets something like 3 lines. Take out Dakota Fanning, who I think gets 2 lines. Take out this story that has a ton of logical stuff. It doesn't make sense.
Young
Like every
Dakota
other Twilight
Fanning was
movies.
creepy. Old Dakota Fanning, even creepier. She's only gotten creepier as she's
Take out
aged.
all that stuff. Take out all the things that usually make a Twilight film bad. This ending that suddenly gives you something actually awesome in Twilight and then tells you that it was Super Mario Brothers 2, that shit never happened. It is its own fucking category.
It's the Super Mario Brothers 2 of vampire movies.
It is. It's the dumbest, most insulting resolution
Though it was
like fucking ever.
Though it was cool when Bella picked up that giant turnip and defeated Wart. Like,
Yeah, she could fly too. That was interesting.
yeah,
But
no, she can fly.
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, she can actually.
She kind of does it. Like, there's that opening scene where she hops off the mountain, and it was pretty much like Princess Peach in Super Mario 2. She does that floaty thing.
So you can see why we have to talk about it, because something that awesome and yet totally ruined. It's like Twilight almost had something awesome in it. Something still dumb, but awesomely dumb. And it just totally threw it in the crapper. How can anyone think that would work?
It's the equivalent of having the twist at the end of Empire Strikes Back after all of that be Luke wakes up and goes, oh my god, what did I make?
No, what was it? Was it Dynasty? Was that the one where it's like the last couple seasons were a dream or something?
Oh yeah, they should have just cut to Patrick Duffy like
in the shower. I mean, it's really like that. It was the most insulting thing you could throw even at Twilight fans.
It is Twilight.
No, even at Twilight fans, because even the audience there was laughing. And they didn't need us to boo it. Like, they were giggling even when they saw that none of that was happening, that it was all a vision. Unbelievable.
This woman's worldview is very, I will say that, it's very fascinating.
Yeah, that she wants to actually get out all this violence, all this evil, as long as she just says, oh, but it didn't happen, so
give her
it's
that.
okay.
It's a very fascinating point of view. Like, I can't take that away from her. I don't think anyone else on the planet has the same point of view that this woman does.
No, but so many teenage girls wish they did. It's so... Okay, we should... I guess we should wrap this up.
The only positive thing I can say for it is, well, the music's pretty good. It's Carter Burwell, so, you know, it's serviceable. And I will say this. The one thing in the movie's defense... It is gorgeous.
They did make it look good.
Cinematography in this film is really good.
Well,
but
the other movies have always been the cinematography.
Well,
they make it look pretty nice.
My only problem with that though is like, okay, so the cinematography is great, but it's kind of like polishing a turd. You know, you could go up and be like, I have completely reconstructed Michelangelo's David out of shit.
But it's still shit.
That's awesome. Like, that's a really nice sculpture, but it's still shit. And it's the same thing here. It's just like the cinematography is gorgeous, but it's still crap. Like,
and teenage girls would still enjoy it.
I'm not a teenage girl, so all I know is I am a man above 30 who ended up seeing Twilight, and I didn't get it.
Let me put it this way: if you don't like the Twilight movies, this one's not gonna sway you. But if you enjoy them for how awesomely
this is like
bad they are,
the election debates.
Yes.
It's like, this won't sway you.
But if you enjoy how ridiculously, enjoyably bad they are, this is the opus. This is the how could they make these decisions?
I will
kind
agree
of
with
thing.
him. It's really bad, and I did laugh. I just don't know if it's worth paying money to see it.
It's
There's not enough beer
Yeah.
or scotch, and I did both.
I am waiting for Stephanie Meyer to come out and just be like, you know, oh, good lord, no, this was all just a social satire, and this character I was playing that was convinced that these are really how vampires are and stuff.
Why?
Like,
She already did it with the ending. You know what she did? She's rickrolled us.
Yeah, the ending is one big rickroll.
She just rickrolled us in the last 30 minutes of this film.
It's... So it's really something to see, in my opinion. It is so spectacularly bad. I laughed all the way through.
I can say without a shadow of doubt, I've never seen anything like it.
It's
the
really
best thing I can say
else.
about it.
So,
I've never seen anything like it.
hopefully you can sort of read from that whether or not this will be up your alley or not. So, God, that's all I gotta say.
Which one of us of the 7 was just like, I'm with team, shut the fuck up and get off screen.
So, that's all I got, man. Any parting words?
I spent years avoiding it, and now I know that was time well spent. And I'll never be able to get that 2 hours of my life
You
back.
did
Thank
see
you,
the
God.
absolute enjoyably worst of it. So,
Yay?
at least if you could see what
Yay?
you saw, the best of the worst.
I'm better for having seen that. Okay.
So, okay, guys, thank you so much, and we will see you next review.
I hate you.
Yeah.